I don't know. Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters live from a very rowdy New York City. Very good, very good. We do have a little bit of time before our last quarterfinal, so what we thought we'd do is we'd just have a bit of fun with you guys in the crowd, because you've been a fantastic crowd today. You made a lot of noise, and we'd like to throw out a few bits and pieces for you, including a HyperX headset, okay? So we got one more of these to give out. We also have some glow sticks, which you've already had a few of thrown at you. I'm sorry about that. Naughty people at the back. Are you ready? Okay, we can give out some of these glow sticks now. Okay, let's give them out. Ladies and gents, also, we have a special guest up here. This is actually George Wu from Intel. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right, calm down, Hubner, all right? Just calm down. Oh, I've kind of broken that. Right, who wants a glow stick? Who hasn't got one? Okay, all right, okay, hold on a second, right? We need to make this quite special. So if the lights were darkened, right? I don't know if we can turn the lights down a little bit. I don't know, maybe. There we go, look, that's a bit better. All right, okay. All right, are you ready? Come on, I want to see them. Let's see them. Let's see them. There we go. Brilliant, good, okay. Do we all look very stupid now? Yes, we do, okay. Right, okay. So who would like the headset then? Okay. Oh. Of all the things I could have damn well dropped. Okay. A slightly second-hand HyperX headset. Now, okay. All right, calm down. I'm going to give two of you the opportunity to come and join me on stage, okay? But you need to be StarCraft fans. Okay? All right. So the guy with the Timo hat, I'd leave quietly now. Right then, so who's a StarCraft fan over here? Who's StarCraft? Has anyone got any StarCraft clothing on? So, the guy with the horse's head at the back, that doesn't count. All right, nice try though. That's brilliant. Who we got? The Zerg t-shirt. Come and join us then. Yeah, come and join us, okay. Be careful, just jump up on the side there for me, all right? Right, stand there. Look down to the floor. I'm kidding. Has anyone else over here got some StarCraft wear on? What have you got? I thought she was taken out. I was like, oh my God. What is it? Oh, nice. Okay, come and join us then. All right. Oh, okay. What's your name?
Sierra.
Okay, and your name?
Eric.
Eric. That's good. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is a very quick quiz. All right, it's very quick. Can you tell me, if you get the question right, you stay in until one of you gets it wrong, all right? Oh, God. Oh, dear. So how many races are there in StarCraft? Shush, everyone.
3.
Okay, it was a bit easy, but I'm going to keep it easy to start with. Name all 3 races.
Their turn for us.
Okay, I think we've got StarCraft fans. That's good, that's confirmed, okay. Can you give me one of Dongray-gu's nicknames?
No.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to offer the question to you. Can you name Dongray-gu's nicknames? Any of them that we've maybe used this weekend?
The one true dong?
I'm going to give you that. The one true dong. There we go. I like it. Where's Hubner gone? This is a farce. Hold on a second. I need to go backstage. I know this is very unprofessional. Hubner! Where's Hubner gone? No, I want Hubner. Where's the glow sticks? Where's Hubner gone? This is terrible. Okay, so he's on social media somewhere. I want you all to get your phones out right now. Okay? Go on to Twitter and message Hubner, where the hell are you? He's let us down with the glow sticks. I've got one more. Who would like the glow stick? What was that? Oh, they're cheering against you, so let's see you over this side. Okay. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, our director of the show. Right, you ready? Thank you very much. See, doesn't let us down. Right, you ready? Here we go, last couple, they're coming out. Mind the eyes. One down there, one down there, one in the middle. Okay, one there. Yes, please. One there, and one there. Hang on, what does he come as? What have you come as? It's a Power Ranger with Spider-Man on the front. That's weird, right? Okay. What, you want to fight? Oh my God! No, hang on! Ah! There's a horse! Oh my God, there's a horse! I've only got a glow stick! It's only a damn glow stick! Jesus Christ! I've lost him! Ah! Okay, take the glow stick. Thanks very much. Okay. Okay, from one superhero to another. Ladies and gentlemen, Apollo! Hold on. I don't know if we can zoom in. Look at these socks.
What's wrong?
Andy, come and get the socks. They're groovy, dude. How you doing anyway?
I'm really good, thank you, actually.
Last quarterfinal.
I'm excited for this one. I'm still off a bit of a high from that last one that I just
can
casted.
see it,
I'm
like,
still a bit shaky and stuff, but this one should be good as well.
Okay, what have you thought of the matches up? Because we've had some incredible games already.
I think the start of this tournament was a little bit slower at first, but as soon as we got into the quarterfinals, it was like, okay, this is where the games are. This is where the real good ones are, and it proves to be.
There was a game yesterday that I know you enjoyed because I sat there and watched it. We were just like, oh! One game yesterday, but today it seems like almost every game is just a crazy game. Are we almost thinking too much like we might get a fourth? NaNiwa?
I think this game's going to be really good. I think that San is, for me, I think San is favored, but I really think that NaNiwa's going to do well because he actually loves the audience a lot. He loves the audience, he wants to perform well, he knows that he's one of the best, if not the best non-Korean, and he just wants to win. And that kind of determination, that kind of fire, you know, how can you stop that?
No, absolutely. We've got our Swedes down here in the front. Yes? Let's hear it for NaNiwa. Popular. Yesterday, actually, we had some Swedes in with a flag. Are you guys still here? They still here? No. Oh, that's a shame.
They've been escorted out.
They've been ejected. Been told to leave. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Look, Kalaris is giving out glow sticks. Do you know what he reminds me of? He's like the woman at the ice cream.
Half-time entertainment reminds you of.
Half-time entertainment. No, he's actually like... Kalaris, you're like... You know when you go to the movies... Yeah, and at half-time, the woman comes round with the ice creams.
Ice creams?
Chuck ices, glow sticks. Thank you. Okay, good.
Are you ready?
Okay.
No more.
All right, okay.
I might get in trouble if I hit someone on the head.
Well, I was told earlier on we weren't allowed to throw any out.
I'm an exception to the rule.
It's fine. I think we might have thrown quite a lot out. Are you ready for the last quarterfinal? In which case, then, I think it's time that we brought our players out. It is, of course, the final quarterfinal of the day. The last match that you're going to have. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for our two players. The last foreign hope and a top Korean. It's San and NaNiwa! So, does Europe hold or does Korea go marching into the semi-finals? We're about to find out with our final quarter-final of the day. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for our commentators. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Red Eye. Welcome to the caster desk. I'm Nathanius. With me is Todd, and we will be bringing you the final series of the evening. How are you feeling about this match, good sir?
I always feel great when I have to cast some PvP. I think you know that by now, and this is going to be no different than any other game. Actually, it's going to be completely different than another game. Thinking about it, NaNiwa versus San, this is an exclusive match we've got happening here. Both of these players are very strong in mirror. San's best matchup, I've talked about it before, is Protoss versus Zerg. If he wins this match, he has to beat 2 Zergs to win the tournament. Remember, we've talked about this. He wasn't able to win a tournament before. He's always performed well, but never quite made it to the finish line. And here he has a serious shot at winning the tournament. It's time we start realizing it and accepting it completely. And that's going to make for a very interesting match. On the other hand, you have NaNiwa, possibly the best for NRA right now, I guess you could say, arguably. And he's also looking to win the tournament, get as many WCS points as he can to secure himself a slot in BlizzCon.
Yeah, NaNiwa really needing those WCS points. Of course, as you said, San has had an incredible run this tournament, dropping very few, if any, maps against his opponents, just bringing us some incredible StarCraft. Very precise build orders. You kind of said it when we were going over his match versus SOS. He completely dismantled him. You know, it was one of those games, and you kind of talked about how San was able to just get advantages by playing out normally. He didn't have to do anything weird or tricky, so NaNiwa will have his hands full. This is going to be quite a match. We already have our players picking their maps. We'll be starting things off on Acolyte Wastes, Bel'Shir, Vestige. So far looking like a very classic map pool.
Wouldn't it be funny if they removed both? Did you see the videos?
I did not.
Okay. Let's see. Frost is in the pool now.
It looks like a very standard setup. Yeonsu is going to be in here, and Whirlwind.
Okay,
so I think 3 very common maps, and then Frost and Yeonsu, 2 of the new ones.
Yeah, the 2 4-players map are in there, which is a little bit surprising, I have to say.
Yeah, I think it kind of makes for some interesting strategy choices, especially since NaNiwa seems to be one of those players who likes to get aggressive. Of course, you see people holding up their signs. NaNiwa is the last foreigner here. And this crowd wants that foreigner to go as far as possible, it seems.
Of course. If they knew how good San is.
Well, anyone that tuned in, fortunately our match was after the venue had closed last night, San SOS, so you guys are going to get a full viewing of his skill. San, I mean, he's played really well so far in this tournament. NaNiwa himself doing not so bad either, even taking PvP series. So how do you feel going into this as far as overall just PvP strategy? Which one of these players do you think would win in this setup? Not necessarily the match, but in terms of build orders.
I feel like it's interesting that they probably don't know as much about each other as some of the other players in the tournament, because San is not particularly a familiar face that you see in all of these international tournaments, whereas NaNiwa is. But NaNiwa, he shifts his style and changes it up from tournament to another, so it's very hard to predict exactly how he likes to play. So both players, I feel like they're gonna be playing a little bit in the dark here as far as meta game goes. They probably don't know what to expect from each other too much, and the first game is going to be very important. The first game could set the pace for the entire series here.
You know what? You actually bring up a really great point in that. NaNiwa, we discussed this yesterday in his match versus Hero. He wasn't able to take that PvP, but he is one of those players that can pull out any variety of strategy. He can put his hand in the hat. Any build is really an option for NaNiwa. He can play greedy, he can play very aggressively, but San seems to have, so far in this tournament, had a relatively calm, collected way of just playing out the long game and taking massive advantages through excellent mechanics, macroing, and just putting out the units and picking good engagements as well in both PvT and PvP.
Yeah, NaNiwa hasn't had a strong showing against Protoss so far in this tournament. Losing to Hero, he looked very, I have to say, not good in general in that match. Hero was able to dismantle him quite well, and in this match versus San, he has to play 1,000 times better than he did versus Hero if he wants to win, because San, he's been the most impressive player in this tournament so far for me, as well as Curious. these two players have impressed me so much.
Yeah,
they are the favorites to possibly...
It's really been incredible.
Yeah.
Just how well, and I mean, it's mostly just San surprising. I think he surprised a lot of people, showing how good he is, especially considering the caliber, the opponents he's defeated. SOS had a great series earlier versus Curious, and we are in the lobby. Acolyte Waste is the first map for this Protoss versus Protoss. How do you feel about this PvP-wise? Is there anything we can eliminate off the board going into this match?
I mean, remember I've covered this a little bit before. To remind you, I've mentioned how NaNiwa had this build order with Dark Templars and Robo, that he was one of the first few players that really liked to go for this build order. Nowadays, everybody does it, so it's become maybe a little bit less popular and people know how to play against it better. Nonetheless, it's still a pretty strong build. We did not see him try for that against Hero, though.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It could potentially fall into that pool of build orders that he has prepared that you had mentioned earlier. And I'm mostly wondering if we're going to see San stick to the same types of strategies. In his PvP versus SOS last night, he'd actually even used a build that we talked about it. He used the same build that he used versus Hack, a Terran player, just playing greedily on those large maps. And that could be one of the reasons that we didn't see a veto on Whirlwind. Maybe San wants to play those greedier builds. It is a best of 5, so we're going to see everything that these players have in store. There won't be many surprises left by the time this match is over.
And surely NaNiwa saw those VODs as well. He's done the minimum research he had to do, watching those games, making sure he knows what tendencies his opponents likes to open with or play like. And I mean, going into this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they just open quite standard. I would be very surprised if they take an expansion early on, because this is not the best map for it. It can be okay if you have a very good build, but you need to be kind of lucky. You know, every build order in PvP has a direct counter. So if your opponent happens to be doing what's countering your expansion builds, you're going to die almost instantly or fall very far behind from the very start of the game. And you don't want that to happen.
It's incredibly important to be on point. And as far as the gambling with the builds go, we did see a pretty reasonable amount of Robo openings. Actually, let me recall one of the games we had that fast expand into the straight Robo, a defensive play from San. And then moving into the second, I believe it was the second game that we had last night, or maybe the third, he went for Dark Templar. So San's also not willing to mix it up. He's shown us he likes the macro play, but really, as far as what we can expect overall, Acolyte Waste, what about it makes taking that early Nexus so difficult?
It's so far apart from the main base that if you have to face something like anything pretty much, a Blink Stalker all in, an Oracle flying into your main, it's going to be so far back that you need to send your Stalkers in advance there. All of these things together, the super wide ramp at the expansion, make it that it's going to be just harder in general to take a very quick expand. A mid-game expand, a lot easier to take. You just open safe on one base, say with a Robo, a Twilight Council for Blink, and then you take expand a little bit later. That's a lot safer. But then again, if you play safer and your opponent plays greedy, you fall behind.
Yeah, and we actually saw really, really nice advantages on the game on Whirlwind. Of course, a bigger map, but in the games where San played greedy, he went straight into Robo. The DT play didn't work quite as well, and I only keep bringing this up because, as you'd stated, NaNiwa kind of likes throwing in those Dark Templar builds. We saw him do it not only in PvP, but also PvT. So we're counting down into the game. We're going to start off this best of 5 to determine who will advance into the semifinals for tomorrow. It's going to be a Protoss versus Protoss. We're loading into the map. Any final thoughts on what you expect to see from these players before we jump in?
I think kind of one base opener, somebody is going to be aggressive, at least one of them, and then depending on how it goes, then they might expand or not.
All right. Commit a bit more. Who do you think is going to be aggressive first?
NaNiwa.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have loaded into the map. It is time. The Intel Extreme Masters New York. San versus NaNiwa. Let's begin. We are on Acolyte Wastes and spawning in the bottom right position as the red Protoss player from Taiwanese team Yoful Wolves. It is San. Displayed some great PvP last night. Can he keep it up against this gentleman in the northwest corner? The blue Protoss player hailing from Sweden. It is Alliance's NaNiwa.
So you learned the actual name of San's team?
I looked it up and might have slipped on it. It's just hard. There's multiple words, but
okay.
It's so difficult, remembering things.
All right. Okay, no proxies. We haven't seen a single proxy in PvP in this tournament. It's about time they changed.
Well, a lot of players have been scouting for it.
Yeah, actually, usually it's always just one player scouting for it.
Yeah. I mean, the positioning of this gateway already, I don't know how you feel about that as far as in the main base. I feel like it looks weird, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I like this pylon because you can put a lot of important buildings behind the gas in this pylon, and they're going to be pretty much untouchable in this position. So it's just standard, in my opinion. Right now, what San has done is thrown down the gateway at the standard timing. He's taking 2 gases. Same thing for NaNiwa. We have a complete mirror so far in this game. Yeah. And it's, you know, remember what I explained about San. He always manages to get more supply than his opponents. And I don't really understand how. So we are going to have to keep an eye on that. At around the 8th minute, 9th minute, if the game makes it to this length.
Yeah, we'll have to see meet both players with those gas. We have 4 probes mining the gas for San, NaNiwa as well. So neither player is super committed just yet. They'll start to saturate them a little bit more as this goes on. What are the signs? Because a lot of people will see in PvP, most of the time a Protoss player is going to open with 2 gases, but what's a sign that they're leaning towards one side of it, such as going for Robo or going for any type of Twilight play? We do actually have a second gateway coming in from NaNiwa and the first scout moving out for San.
And he's mining on 3+3 since much earlier than San. So he might have a sentry first, or if he doesn't go for sentry first, he's gonna have a lot of gas to work with. Possibly start a Stargate or a Twilight Council immediately. I don't think he's gonna be a quick robo. You almost never see a quick robo in PvP.
Well, NaNiwa does have the second gateway coming up. It's a little bit of a different setup. Both players not staying that even. However, the probe will be able to come in and see this. The Stalker is on the way. He does have a decent bit of gas. No tech building just yet. Is he waiting just to get rid of the probe? What's the potential of just being a regular 3 Stalker type of push?
I mean, he's actually saved quite some chrono boost. Not spending it on the warp gate, not using it on Stalker, so I don't understand. He waited now until the probe was on its way out of the base. He used the chrono boost. Okay, he's chrono boosting 2 extra Stalkers. That's why he was saving chrono boost. And yeah, you're completely right. This is going to be a 3 Stalker pressure here. Possibly with a 3rd gateway behind it. Does he throw it down? He has a probe in position. Yes. No. Stargate.
All right. Well, he's going to be going for this option. And I feel like this is an interesting contrast because we have the Twilight Council completing relatively soon for San. He's now adding on 2 gateways, moving up to that regular 3-gate setup. And I assume it's got to be Blink. There it is now on the production tab. So as far as this push comes, he's gotten his extra gateways a little bit more slowly. So as far as the Stalker count goes, is a slight lead from NaNiwa, actually getting a little bit of a skirmish out there in front of his base, then grabbing the Pro. But the Mothership Course here, it should have enough energy by the time these Stalkers get here to use that Photon Overcharge. You'd mentioned this was the risk of going for a fast expand. You want to try to play a little bit more turtley, and that seems to be what these players are going for.
Yeah, and this is great for San right now. Oh, actually, the Stalker's not shooting at San Stalker for a long time here.
Yeah, it seemed like he had a good chance to get something there, especially since it's just 3 versus 2, and one of them having no shields. Of course, the Mothership Core's there, but he can force that energy to get spent earlier and earlier, and he's trying to bait him down into the range of it, and there he goes. Now, stepping in, NaNiwa will lose 1 Stalker, does pick up one of San's, and it's so far an even trade, but he's going to be able to chase him out, and he just a very quick recall.
And NaNiwa behind this is starting an expansion. San, he's going to start warping in Stalkers 3x3. He has Blink almost finished. Well, 50 seconds from finishing, and he's going to move across the map and look to apply a little bit more pressure. The thing is, he's going to leave his base very soon. Well, he's already left it. He has no units back at home. Photon Overcharge is going to run out, I think, before the Oracle can get there. And this Oracle is going to have a lot of energy, already 60 on it. It could kill every single probe that's in San's base. So San, he has to make this attack work. He has to kill NaNiwa right here and then. He's going to move up the ramp.
Has to be very careful. A force field blocks one of the Stalkers and blinks out and blinks right back in, continuing to try to bring this pressure, getting on top of the Mothership Core. There's no energy for a Photon Overcharge. Will be able to snipe that off. A Void Ray at the same time has completed. The Zealot from NaNiwa retreating into the mineral line, focusing down a few of these probes, but continuing, as you stated, to warp in those Stalkers, bringing them in, moving the proxy pylons closer and closer. At the same time, the Oracle hits the main base of San, forcing the probes to run back. He warps in the Stalker to defend. At the same time, the Void Ray gets a decent position, forcing San away from NaNiwa's base, and these probes are basically on a full-on sprint, trying to get away from this Oracle that's managed to get a pretty decent number of kills. 9 so far.
And the Nexus on the expansion of NaNiwa has been cancelled. I think San is going to hold at home and possibly kill NaNiwa here. NaNiwa has to pull probes if he wants to hold this.
Yeah, he's doing his best. Just that Void Ray, it's actually attacking the Mothership core, and he's trying to bring in 2 Zealots at the same time to help hold this off. The Force Field as well, and he has 2 Void Rays. Very powerful. The Prismatic Alignment on one of them really helping to push this back. The probe count 10 to 21, though. There's not as much for San to reinforce this if NaNiwa can get him off his back, but the probe's being pulled perhaps a little bit too late, Todd, as the Void Rays are gone. It's just a Stalker and probes trying to fight off this Force, the Zealots as well, but despite killing those probes with the Oracles, he's going to lose a good number himself. Additional reinforcements being brought in. How much does NaNiwa need to stop this? It seems like he gets a decent round actually picking off a good number of the Stalkers, but they blink away. There's not much left for the Swedish Protoss player.
Yeah, he's down to 20 probes, but I think he was not mining for quite some time now. He needs to get a good enough Stalker count to completely defend this, and then he will have won the game because he has way more probes. But right now he doesn't have enough units.
Yeah, he's actually up 10 to 20. He's now beginning to press in once again. It's 3 Stalkers versus 5. It will take some immaculate micro from NaNiwa to make this work. The Zealot being able to get on top of this. A big hindrance, of course, there's the micro capability of those Stalkers. Will he pull the probes again to try to stave this off? That's the question. Does pick off one Zealot. Getting another Stalker out. He's trying to get as much as possible. Stalkers are being warped in. He's bringing them back from the main base, the one that was defending against the Oracle, and he's coming as close as possible. More Zealots coming in. Still a Harvester lead for NaNiwa. If he can hold on, there's a chance he can take this game. He's beginning to bring it forward. Getting the Zealots on top of those Stalkers, but the Blink's back so good from San to stay alive. The Stalker count still barely in favor of the Taiwanese Protoss player. The probe's being picked at the same time. He's trying to get more reinforcements, trying to get the Zealots in to help stop this. And the Stalker count right now, 4 to 5. NaNiwa's evening it up. It's 5 versus 6. All he needs is 1 or 2 good more trades. Picks off another Stalker of San. He's got the supply lead. He's holding it as long as he can, and he still has that worker count lead.
And San has been pushed back for now. He has to go for it. It's now or never. 18 probes to 13. This is still a huge difference at this point in the game. I think he's going to go for one more attack, and if this does not work, he's dead.
The reinforcement capability for NaNiwa is so good. He's continuing to press in. Stalker in the back does get sniped off. He's having a hard time microing versus these Blinks, but still keeping his Stalkers alive. A Void Ray, 70% done. Just waiting on this to help come try to bail out of the situation. He could pull the probes if he traps these Stalkers behind the mineral line, but he's being focused and he's losing all of his army. San's still on an even supply, but that's also largely due to the larger number of probes for the Protoss,
oh my God.
the Swedish Protoss player.
What a sick micro by San.
Is out. He's doing everything he can to try to finish him off right here and now.
And he's gonna... Oh, he's rejoined with his 2 Zealots.
Yeah,
he's going for it again.
Coming in, one of these Stalkers taking a lot of damage, not dealing too much itself. I feel like he wants to try to bait him back into a little bit of a choke point again, just trying to use that economic lead to pull himself back in as quickly as he can. At this time, San has actually trickled in a few more probes. It's a lot closer as far as the income goes between these two players. The Void Ray using his Prismatic Alignment. There's a 60-second cooldown once that wears off, where San's Stalkers are going to become so much more powerful, and the supply lead favoring the Taiwanese player. Once again, NaNiwa has to make a miracle happen to stop this attack, continuing to bring in the Zealots, but is it going to be enough? I'm not sure. Stepping forward, Blinks under the Void Ray will focus that down, and NaNiwa loses the most powerful part of his army, still trying to focus on the weaker units of San, but the supply lead really hurting him. These Zealots doing a great job of distracting, but it seems that San has broken NaNiwa's back. GG. The Taiwanese Protoss player takes game number 1.
What an insane game here to start the series with. This was so close, and for a moment it looked like NaNiwa had held and was going to be able to get enough units to finally hold once and for all and secure himself the first victory in this best of 5. But in the end, San with the clutch micro on those Blink Stalkers, barely able to make this work. This really came down to 1 unit difference, I'm tempted to say. There was, at some point it was like 4 units against 3. And somehow San microed his heart out and won.
It's so crazy. When you have that Blink Stalker upgrade, it's so much easier to get the control. Of course, we can see here the final moments, NaNiwa tapping out. And you know what? This isn't one of those games where, you know, it's not one of those things that should really shake you up. I think NaNiwa looks at this. I think there's a few more adjustments he could have made. And the one thing I wanted to ask you about, because you'd mentioned the probe pull, if he had pulled them earlier, when is the ideal time versus this type of attack if you have that economic edge due to something like the Oracle getting all those probe kills?
Once you're losing the fight really hard, or, well, I guess when you start losing the fight, you can pull probes, but if you're, a lot of the time you're going to be too far from your nexus to do it. So usually what you do if you're losing is that you start a step and you bring your opponent close to your nexus. And then once the probes are very close by, you can start using them for defense. But you need to know when to prioritize mining minerals, because for example, NaNiwa now, there was a time he pulled a lot of probes because he had to hold, he had no choice. There was too many Stalkers for him to fight head on, but he lost a lot of mining time. But if he had not pulled the probes to help defend, he would have lost the game right there and then, because he would have lost all of his units. So he pulled the probes, he got rid of a lot of the units of his opponents, he brought the unit count back to even, and then after that he started mining again. That was just pretty, I guess you could say, perfect reaction and perfect time to pull the probes from him. But sadly, it wasn't not enough.
It's so hard, and it really did seem like he had an opportunity to pull it back. But we're loading into map number 2. It's Bel'Shir Vestige, your favorite map, Todd. But here we are. We're loaded into the game. Our 2 Protoss players ready to go at it once again in this best of 5. It is San versus NaNiwa at the Intel Extreme Masters New York. Let us begin. Bel'Shir Vestige is the place where this fight will go down. Spawning in the top left position as the red Protoss player. The Taiwanese, he is San. Taking a great first game with that blink play. His opponent, the Swedish Protoss in blue. In the bottom right, it is NaNiwa.
And that first game, San going for the blink against the Stargate, he had a huge hedge, obviously, but it's very situational. You know, he moved out, he did the right move, well, he did what he thought was the right move at the time. Sadly for him, there was an Oracle on its way to his base, so he ended up losing lots of probes, which was unfortunate. If he had known exactly that there was a Stargate and an Oracle headed for his base, he would have had some Stalkers ready to help him defend, and he would have won that game quite easily, I think.
I mean, even without the units actually there to help bolster the push, you think?
What? Say again?
I mean, even without the units there to actually, like, you have less, when you bring some of the units back to defend,
yes.
Would it have made it easier for the NaNiwa to defend now? I feel like it's a different game in that situation.
Yeah, but the thing is, he completely wrecked San's economy instantly. San was down to 10 probes. So it was, when NaNiwa was mining with like 25 probes for quite some time before San finally arrived and started putting the pressure on enough for NaNiwa to pull probes. So economy-wise, San was in a terrible position. He had to make something happen, and he did it, but NaNiwa had enough time to supposedly get enough units and Void Rays to maybe hold and win the game right there and then. San just had 2 good micro in the end, and he salvaged the situation very well. He was down to 15 probes. He started remaking some, and he went up to 15. He was down to 10 probes.
Yeah.
He went up to 15 probes, and then he stopped.
It was about like 20 versus 10, and he did manage to remake a few, which was just enough to keep him in the game. So as far as this game goes, if you're NaNiwa and you lose that first game to that play, and it seemed like it was really close hold, what do you go for in the second game? We're actually seeing San go once again. He's bringing that early probe scout in, and NaNiwa adding on the second gateway again.
I think on this map, if NaNiwa just tries and play Blink into some kind of expansion, it will be a lot better, because if you do that, you ensure that you don't die to anything. Just play defensively, you expand, you keep an eye on your opponent's expansion, and then from there you take it to the mid-game, late game, where you could possibly feel very comfortable. Both of these players can play the mid to late game quite well as well.
Yeah, it's a very good point. It's not necessarily has to be limited to the early game, but one of the things that we discussed on Acolyte Wastes, I feel a little bit of a shorter distance from the main base to the natural as compared to Acolyte Waste. So there's a greater possibility of that early expansion being taken, I think.
Yeah, on this map, yes. You're completely right. It's actually much better. It's probably one of the best maps, if not the best, to take an expansion on. But I don't think NaNiwa wants to go for that. He's going to go for a 3-stalker pressure, at least in the beginning of this game. And San, he went for the very fast target here. That was such a fast target. And he's going to start a Phoenix first.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I feel, you know, he has the early stalker count. He can bring a little bit of pressure. The Phoenix, as far as defense goes, San's unit composition is just a handful of Zealots, and he's actually queued up a 3rd on his gateway. What's the most that he can do with this? Is there a potential here for NaNiwa to do some really early damage?
He's not going to do much, I think. I mean, San, he already has 2 Zealots. He's going to get a 3rd one. It will be almost impossible to micro well enough to kill all of this, not losing anything. He could try and move up. Actually, the Zealots, they're going to be on hold position at the ramp while the Mothership Core possibly shoots. No, he's going to pull back for now. And with the Phoenixes, 2 Phoenixes out, he could actually go for the Mothership Core. And then once he's dead, he starts lifting up Phoenix. NaNiwa's going to have to recall here, I think. If San engages, NaNiwa is going to have to recall.
Very, very interesting setup, the Phoenix Zealot versus Stalkers. The probe does get inside of NaNiwa's base. San is able to scout this out. And, you know, he sees that the robotics facility is the follow-up for NaNiwa. And more importantly, he doesn't actually see the Nexus just yet. He didn't see NaNiwa's expansion.
I'm surprised San is so scared of these units. I think he might be thinking that there is a proxy pylon near those units, and then when he attacks, there is going to be reinforcements, more Stalkers. Those 3 Stalkers against 3 Zealots, a Mothership Core and 2 Phoenixes, they won't do so well, but if there is 3 more Stalkers, or 2, it will be much harder. Nice pickup on that sentry, by the way.
Yeah, really nice grab on the sentry. The Phoenix, they don't take the bonus damage from the Stalkers. They could do so much. And actually, it's Mothership Core of NaNiwa losing a bit of its health here in the center of the map. It has a very low hit point count. He's actually just going to swoop in and pick this off. It had so much energy. A really nice grab. He does lose 1 Phoenix.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that trade?
I think it's quite all right. He could have actually saved the Phoenix, but killing the Mothership Core at this point is key because there is not going to be any photon overcharge. San is going to keep on making Phoenixes. And if you're NaNiwa here, you need a lot of Stalkers to be able to defend between your main and natural. And, well, supposedly San should have taken an expansion, and I think he wants to go for a 1-base timing somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this might be because he's killed the Mothership Core, and he realizes there is not going to be any photon overcharge. So he's just going to go for a huge timing. Whoa, a probe of NaNiwa sneaks into the natural of San. He's going to know exactly what he's up against. From there, he only has to play very defensive, make sure he does not move down the ramp too early, and he's going to be fine, I think.
Yeah, this is a very interesting situation. The tech setup, San actually has his 2 warp gates. He has 1 gateway that he has yet to switch over. So if he forgets to do this, it can actually really hurt his reinforcement abilities. And of course, you do have the Phoenix here trying to find something to grab. The Stalkers are in position. He's getting blanked. Be very nice for Microwing versus those, being able to catch them. But he has switched that gateway over. This is a pretty powerful attack that's going to be coming in from San. He can use the Phoenix to pick up any sentries that are here.
Photon overcharge, he's almost up.
Yeah, it's just pure Stalkers. He almost has the energy, and it's one of the really nice things about killing that Mothership Core earlier. He does activate the Nexus Cannon, picking off the Zealots individually with these Stalkers is very nice. He's picked an army composition that's not terribly vulnerable to the Phoenix setup. He doesn't really have many Zealots. He didn't rebuild any sentries. He kind of recognizes what he needs to deal with this setup, and he holds off the attack pretty well. He's got him running back.
I don't understand what San's plan is from there. This is disastrous for him. He's actually going to recall right on time not to lose his Mothership Core. He saw that the Stalkers were out on the map, so he's going to go for some harass on those probes. He's pulling back home now, but I mean, he has so few units. He's getting his first Immortal, that's it. No expansion.
Yeah, this is a very awkward position to be in, especially since if the Phoenix spend all of their energy picking up these probes and they do return home, how much will they be able to do to help defend? There's 4 Stalkers here. NaNiwa gets 1 Stalker in. There's nothing here to block him out. The Immortal comes out immediately into this hail of laser fire from NaNiwa, and he takes a great position. He still has that Nexus back at home. A second Immortal is being produced, but San only has 4 Stalkers and 2 Zealots to defend against this. And NaNiwa, he took significant probe loss, though. He needs to make something happen with this push. He's only at 15 versus the 26 of San.
Oh, he's getting the robo.
Focusing it down. He picks it off. Very nice grab, shooting down these individual Stalkers. San has to continue to push these units out. NaNiwa has that capability to produce 2 probes at a time, but this Phoenix continuing to run in here, pick off these probes. It's 12 versus 26, almost a mirror of the way that the last game ended up, in a manner of speaking. There's a Void Ray coming out as well to defend for San. He's coming in trying to focus down the pylons that are powering these gateways, supply block his opponent. Stalkers are being warped in as well. NaNiwa down on supply, but has a very powerful army supply, and he's continuing to just bring this pressure. The Zealots being focused on as he blinks back. The Phoenix coming in trying to lend their hands to this battle. Of course, the Stalkers can shoot up if he can lift up a good number of them, but not too much more energy is left for that. The Void Ray is coming out, the very nice. NaNiwa is bringing another huge wave of reinforcements to help defend against this. There's the lift ups from Phoenix. He's trying to just shut this down. Prismatic alignment on this Void Ray, smashing these Stalkers, and San realizes he just needs to hold on for a little bit.
He lost 2 very important Stalkers here. We have a reverse position here from the last game. NaNiwa is the one who has to kill San now. And I'm actually surprised that San is sending his Phoenixes across the map. I think he doesn't realize how far ahead on economy he is.
This is a very tense situation. He's coming in here now, blinking and gets the Void Ray, and he's on top of the Stalkers of San, shooting down his remaining forces. Here come the Phoenix. There's another Void Ray that's popped out. He can blink under this if he wants. He needs to be very careful. There's the lift up. Mothership Core does get taken down. No Nexus Cannon, and he's just continuing to wail against San. Wailing against this Korean Protoss player. Takes out the next Void Ray. The probes are coming off the line and trying to defend. GG. NaNiwa evens up the series 1-1 against San.
Did you see how much energy the Mothership Core had when he died? 99. I'm not kidding, 99.
That feel.
And if that photon overcharge had gone down, San could have just pulled back, regrouped, and made enough units before NaNiwa could kill him to possibly secure himself the win. This was incredible. So far, both players They went for Blink against Target once and they won with it each. I think it's time for Blink versus Blink in the next game.
It surely seems like it. Very nice game. That was, like you said, it's pretty much a mirror. A little bit of a later stage there, but it's just one of those very interesting situations where he didn't have the army to defend, but if he held on, he would have been fine due to the number of probes that he had killed. But what a game, and NaNiwa has to be feeling a lot better about himself. He's tied things up. This isn't going to start snowballing in one direction or the other. And that was, yeah. You think both players blink next game? The map is going to be Frost.
Doesn't seem that likely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think if you don't want to play the gamble game, if you don't want to take too much risk, because anything's a risk. Leaving your base is a risk. There could be an Oracle flying in there, killing probes anytime. You can either open with a very quick sentry to use the hallucination to scout and see exactly what you're up against, or you could just open Blink plus Observer, which is safe against everything. Dark Templar, Stargates, it's okay against anything.
Yeah, well, both players, we have the lobby set up. We're getting ready to jump into this game. It seems like it's been a very, very low base style series so far. We had the one base aggression. Of course, this being a 4-player map, neither player will know where the other is at the very beginning of this game. I feel like there is a bit of a tendency for the games to go longer.
Yes.
We saw San on these larger maps yesterday play a more economic opening versus SOS.
But he knows that NaNiwa saw those games, so
yeah,
that needs to play a role. But then again, NaNiwa knows that San knows.
Oh, goodness.
So it's like, he's never going to dare do it again.
But that might be exactly why it works.
Yes, that's the beauty of metagame.
There's so many options available. NaNiwa is very intently focused, getting ready for this map. Looks like both of our players are ready, though, so we're going to be counting down into this.
On this map, I wouldn't be surprised if we see our first quite long game here. And by that, I mean they at least take one expansion, or two.
Well, I feel I echo your sentiments because it is such a large map, so... Just because I've been missaying this pretty much the whole time. It's Yo Flash Wolves that San is on. The Taiwanese team, Korean player, Taiwanese team, Yo Flash Wolves.
All right.
We're loading into this map though, Frost. Any final thoughts before we jump into game 3?
This is also one of the better maps to take a quick expansion on.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty big, but we are here, ladies and gentlemen, and we had a bit of a disconnect issue to start, so we'll have to remake this lobby, but it's going to be game 3. Just a little bit. Sometimes
you got excited.
I was ready, man. This is a tied series. Both games very action-packed so far.
I see a lot of Team Liquid shirts in the audience. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
Everybody who comes from Team Liquid.
Shout out to everybody that came to watch this. The seats are packed. I couldn't get a seat earlier to watch DRG Hyun. So many people coming out to watch these games.
A lot of people sitting on the floor too.
Yeah, it's awesome. But we're going to reset up the lobby, so we restart our conversation about the game. Fast expansions on this map. You know, and I think one of the other things about this map that helps that a lot, though, is the range of the photon overcharge, if you're in your main base, actually covers your ramp going to your natural. Like some maps, you can't do that, right? Like on Acolyte Waste, it's a lot harder. Point. You can't do it on Yeonsu. I feel like that helps.
Do you play Protoss?
No,
I guess you cast a lot of games.
I just like to do this build where I mine drop on the ramp, and I only do it on maps where you can't photon overcharge the ramp.
Good to know. I'll make cannons there against you.
But we're back in the lobby, guys. We'll be jumping into this in just a second. Colors have been set. Looks like San's ready to go. NaNiwa is ready to go.
Let's go.
Do you like this map in PvP?
I don't play it very often. I think it's quite okay. I like macro games, and like we mentioned, this is one of the better maps for taking more bases and playing a longer game. So yeah, it's quite all right.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, because it was weird because San actually really liked the macro games versus SOS last night, and he played relatively aggressively today. But we are now actually in the game. We're ready to kick off map number 3 between these two players, the Intel Extreme Masters New York, San versus NaNiwa. It's time to find out who's going to take the next lead in this series. Welcome to Frost, ladies and gentlemen, spawning in the top right position. The red Protoss player from Korea, playing for the Taiwanese team, Yo Flash Wolves. It is San. took that first win, and it was just tied up by this man in the bottom right corner, the blue Protoss player, the Swede from Alliance. It is NaNiwa.
Whoa.
For some reason, the crowd seems to be leaning in favor of our Swedish player, Todd. I can't explain this.
Can't you? Let's see what these players have in store for us. Ooh, gateway on 10 by NaNiwa. So he might be expecting some kind of expansion, no matter how greedy, and go for either 3 gateway pressure / all-in, more in the pressure, or at least we're going to see some big aggression. You never see gate 10 like this and then into passive play, and that's very, very interesting. Gas will go down at 13.
Yeah,
and quick scouts.
Yeah, so it's a 4-player map. You'd think, okay, neither player knows where the other is at the beginning of the game, so you have to do a little bit of scouting to find them. Build your gateway very fast. Get ready to be aggressive against San. Like you said, there's no way that NaNiwa didn't see those games. He's already saving up the chrono boost on that Nexus. There's no way he didn't see the games where San played greedily on the larger maps versus SOS. This is a great opportunity to try to punish that.
Look at the core timing difference. The cybernetics core of NaNiwa already started. The gateway of San is not even finished just yet. This is going to be
20, 25 seconds ahead of his opponent. This is really nice
hard.
timing.
Pretty hard to hold this.
So the only thing I'm wondering now, Todd, we didn't see anything like the 15 supply gateway out of San, but how much can he be thinking in his mind that this is even possible? Because, as you say, of course, NaNiwa would have seen those games.
You really want me to get into that? He knows that I know that.
I'm just wondering what's the safest way for him to play versus something like this 10-gate opener.
You know that there is the option that your opponent is going to do it, but even if he doesn't do it, that build is going to be good. That's how NaNiwa thought about this game, and sadly for him, actually, he's going to get scouted first. So this is actually going to give a better chance to San to possibly hold this. Oh, look, San is about to start the Twilight Council. Upon seeing this, he might cancel and go into more gateways to make sure he's able to hold. Look, he cancels immediately the Twilight Council.
And Mothership Core is on the way, so very interesting. I think it's nice for San. The Mothership Core, of course, we're talking about the Photon Overcharge. He can cover his entire main base with that.
But San, he was... Wait, did he lose his... No. He was actually supply blocked here for a second. And he's finally got his third pylon. He wasn't able to start his Stalker for some time. Did he kill one of his own probe? I didn't even see.
Not actually.
He canceled something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no units
a bit
lost. Weird. Yeah, just to cancel the Twilight Council, it seems. But now NaNiwa is placing that pylon. He's getting ready to warp in these units. His 2 additional gateways are coming in as we speak. And here comes the Zealot, the Stalker, trying to move forward. The Mothership Core is here to add a little bit of extra oomph to this defense. The Stalker is trying to target down the Stalker of San, getting rid of the micro potential from these units. And the Zealot's giving chase. He does manage to pick off NaNiwa's Stalker, but keeping this alive is going to be so difficult. Pulls the probes, does manage to keep his Stalker alive. The Mothership Core is trying to get on top of that as much as it can.
The Warp Gate upgrade of NaNiwa is about a minute ahead of Sans. How can he hold this? He's going to be boosting out some units now, but his Warp Gate upgrade is so far away from finishing. NaNiwa is going to start proxying a pylon. Remember, you mentioned the Photon Overcharge can reach quite far on this map, and it's almost up.
Yeah, he has 4 Stalkers now fighting here. Even this probe. There's the Photon Overcharge trying to shove this force back. He's actually trying to unpower one of these gateways. Immediately, San realizes this, throws down a secondary pylon, but it slows down the production of his next Zealot. We have NaNiwa with that pylon in the main base can reinforce so well. San actually has a pylon inside the main base of NaNiwa, though he has a little bit of potential, but with that Warp Gate being so later, getting the counter harass is so difficult. And really, how much can he invest into harassing NaNiwa at this point when he needs to defend himself so much?
I think he needs to warp in 3 Stalkers at this point, pull all of his probes, go for it, and hope that it goes well, because the more he waits, the worse this is going to get. NaNiwa is going to keep on warping a lot of units. His Stalker count is actually quite high. Well, actually, if you think about it, San might just stay behind his buildings at this point. He has more income than NaNiwa. Yeah, he's putting probes preemptively.
Yeah, he's just trying to get that surround like you said, and if he can get the positioning, it might work. The Stalker's trying to be targeted down by NaNiwa. He's going to lose a few of these probes giving chase, of course. He's kiting with the Stalkers.
Oh, he's swapping in a sentry.
And there's the sentry. He wants to lock him inside, give him the hug of death from the probes, and now he's moving in on top of this army. The Mothership Core, of course, adding in its damage as well, but NaNiwa focusing down the Stalkers of San, getting rid of those expensive high firepower units, and looking at the unit tab, it's just 4 Stalkers versus 2 Stalkers with that sentry, and the Mothership Core still very close, but the supply for NaNiwa so high, 34 to 13. What does San have left to stop this assault? GG. NaNiwa takes game number 3 and secures a lead in this best-of-5 series after starting down 0-1.
The hug of death with the probes.
Yeah, it's always the hug or kiss of death when it's man.
I did not know that one.
So you think probes look cuddly if you've seen the Carbot animations, but once they get around you, you suddenly realize there's no escape.
You know, I think the best chance for San to win this was either when he got his first warp-in done, to pull a lot of probes and go for a huge attack on those units that were up his ramp, because the photon overcharge was also still up. Either that or staying behind his building, because he was quite walled off behind them. Then NaNiwa would have had to kill all those gateways with his stalkers, but it would take quite some time to be able to make that happen. And San had more income than NaNiwa. NaNiwa, he cut probes at 15 on minerals in his main. He didn't even take a second gas, so he didn't actually have that much income. So that was one of those crazy games where a few small details could have changed everything. But overall, NaNiwa's warp gate being 1 minute ahead of his opponents, that's a little bit too much, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you couple the chrono boost with the earlier gateway. We talked about the cybernetics score. It was 25 seconds ahead, but then you invest all that chrono boost into it, just pumping everything out, and suddenly it turns into a much larger advantage as far as being aggressive goes. The next map will be Yeonsu. NaNiwa is up 2-1 in this best-of-5. If he takes this game, he advances. But San, still a formidable opponent. He's had a great tournament run. This could go either way. How do you feel about San's chances on this map? Being able to scout a bit more easily, while he did get the easy scout last time around, does NaNiwa do something as aggressive, or does he cool it down a little bit?
I think if he proxies, he would have a good chance. But more seriously, I think San, I like that he's the one doing the scouting and trying to adapt to his opponent. The thing is, well, on a 4-players map, like before, it's just really hard to see what you want to see on time. His build was just generally the way you want to play on the map. But if you think about it, he should have known something could have been wrong from NaNiwa, like the aggression he went for. NaNiwa is known to do this kind of aggression, so maybe he should have done a little bit less greedy build plus the scouting, or if he didn't want to scout, he could have done a pretty greedy build, but safe at the same time with some sentries. You know, if he opens sentries, like 2 or 3 sentries, he will be sure that not only he's going to get a hallucination to scout on time if he's not being attacked, and he would have the force fields to hold any kind of 3-gate or 4-gate aggression.
We'll have to see who decides to bring the heat this game and who can hold on. It's San versus NaNiwa. Game number 4, starting on Yeonsu for the Intel Extreme Masters New York. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the top right position as the red Protoss player. From Yo Flash Wolves, it is the Korean San. On the verge of being eliminated from this tournament, he needs to bring it back against this man in the bottom left position. The Swede from Team Alliance, the blue Protoss, it is NaNiwa.
Both players need this win so much. NaNiwa for BlizzCon points. He wants to make it there, and he has to win there. He has to go further in this tournament. San, as we said, this could be his first big win in an international tournament. I actually think that San, he may be the best Protoss versus Zerg in the world right now. He's playing super impressively in the matchup. If he beats NaNiwa here, he has to beat 2 Zergs to win the tournament, which is very doable for him.
And he's played so well. There's no doubt. He's easily one of the... when I look at San and the way that he's played these games so far in this match, I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to take it all. But NaNiwa, he's standing in the way, and he's putting up a damn good fight about it.
Yes.
And this has been a very clutch series for him, trying to get those WCS points to get to BlizzCon next month. But so far, both players going a bit back towards what we had in game number 1, the early 2 gas geysers. No second gateway just yet from either of them, but more importantly, no proxies, no very fast gateways. It looks like a relatively standard setup from both of them.
Yeah, and San was the only one to scout very early on for proxies. NaNiwa putting down his second pylon where there could be a cannon rush. Nicely done here. To make sure he's safe against this kind of play. We've seen players before in very important games go for this kind of cheese and be successful with it a lot of the time.
I think that the player that always stands out to most is an Acer Team Straight Cup, Crank. He's probably one of the most fun guys to watch pull off cheese. But San, does double check in the natural expansion, seeing if anything is there. He will send out the probe scout again. Just trying to keep an eye on what's going on. And NaNiwa's opening up with the second gateway. Actually, San deciding as well to open up with the second gateway. So it's not going to be the flip-flop of builds that we saw in game 1-2. Both players going for pretty much the same thing so far.
Let's go Twilight both players, please. It would be so funny. I really like Blink. San, again, the only player to scout early on in the game. Not that early, but still, he's going to be able to see everything that's going on in NaNiwa's base, that there's 2 guys that's being fully mined from double gateway as well. This is good. Sometimes you can even see the Mothership Core starting just before you have to leave because the Stalker is about to come out.
Yeah, and the Mothership Core is on the way for both players. It's going to come out a little bit faster for
NaNiwa's going to do the same. Look at his Chrono Boost. He's going to Chrono Boost 2 Stalkers extra, I think, and he's going to pressure again with 3 Stalkers plus the Mothership Core.
It gives him a pretty nice opportunity. He's still waiting to spend that Chrono Boost. Is he just going to put on his gate, perhaps on his Cybernetics Core, and go for a 3-gate timing?
Yeah, this is... Usually he always spends this... Yeah, I think you're right, but why is he not using it still? He's thrown on a 3rd gateway, but...
Perhaps a little bit indecisive. We have the 3rd gateway on the way for San as well, so both players are going to go toe-to-toe as far as the build orders are concerned.
Look at the production tab. Absolute mirror.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. The Chrono Boost slightly further along for San, but it all comes down to the balance of where they go, and the pylon has been placed in the bottom of the map by San, close to NaNiwa's base.
The probe's going to be caught. And NaNiwa sees it, and he should know from there. I've mentioned this many times, when you see a probe coming from this way, you're going to clear the entire area usually to make sure there is no proxied pylon.
And he's actually just moving out. He places a pylon in the center of the field. He's actually getting a bit of a skirmish. One of his Stalkers taking some serious damage. The Mothership Core is here as well to aid here, and now NaNiwa's will also join the fray. Of course, the Mothership Core so slow does cause the time warp to get spent, trying to get into a micro battle. Does pick off one of the Stalkers. NaNiwa, his Stalkers at a very nice amount of health as well, can continue to press this back. A sentry's been put out for San. He'll have the option to force field these Stalkers
this
if
is
they
so
go too far up
smart.
the ramp.
He warped in 2 Zealots across the map to counter-attack, and he's got a sentry back at home to force field the ramp.
Very nice. He can delay the fight on his own side. NaNiwa's probe going down to the natural, sees this, decides, okay, well, he's going to leave, potentially put a pylon further up. NaNiwa, with these gateways, they're on cooldown. No units being able to brought in just yet. He still has a good amount of Stalkers trying to press into San's base, but the Zealots are getting in the mineral line. Forces 3 Warpins to be spent back at home for the Swedish Protoss player. Now he's coming in towards the main base. The Zealots taking some heavy fire. He's trying to press through. The Zealots, of course, can be kited reasonably well, but with that meat shield gone, there are more units here for NaNiwa. Still has to defend at home. These Zealots are still being a bit of a pain in his side, but the Mothership Core for San, he had to use that the time warp earlier.
NaNiwa
Doesn't
got the
have a
better
Photon
end of this.
overcharge.
He definitely got the better end of this. He's 1 walker ahead, but a lot of units ahead. 5 Stalkers to 9.
50 supply to
NaNiwa's
38.
favor, yes. This is huge here. Does he try and go to finish the game from there, or does he wait to get blink, something like that? It's pretty hard because there is a sentry up the ramp, so he could get force fielded, but it looks like he's thinking about moving up the ramp.
And he needs to be very careful with how he takes these next few moments. There's 1 force field available on the sentry, but if he cuts that army in half at just the right point, he could easily chew through a good amount of this, but NaNiwa's just going to try to force the ramp. He's coming up. The force field, still too many Stalkers make it up. There's the time warp preventing the retreat. Even the Stalkers from the low ground in range to be able to hit this. He's taking out the forces of San. NaNiwa wants to advance in this tournament. He has the supply lead. He's pressing in. The Mothership Core retreats to the Nexus. He will have the Photon overcharge available, but what will he have behind it? The robotics is simply trying to crank out an Immortal. He's focusing down these sentries, picking them off. The force field, no good. He can still retreat. He can still dance around. And NaNiwa, with a massive army lead, can simply sit back here and just warp in more units. Zealot's going to harass, but he still has units at home to hold this off. And now he's continuing to just move in. The Zealots, a little bit of an interesting micro battle we have here, Todd, just going between these Zealots. And he's
trying to go around to
probes.
snipe some probes there. But I mean, the army supply here, 34 for NaNiwa, 21 for San. NaNiwa is giving San the time to maybe get a second Immortal. The Photon overcharge is going to expire soon. I think he's going to go for the kill here. It's now or never. I guess for San to try and hold and possibly come back in this series, and NaNiwa is in a great position. He's going for it now.
Yeah, he's going to bring the heat. The probes pulled off the line, some of them at least, to try to stave this off. There are 2 Immortals, great firepower versus the Stalkers, but the Zealots are here to tank as well. The probes, well, they mostly want to avoid those Zealots, very powerful versus the workers, but also picking off the pylons, preventing reinforcing units, supply blocking him. He's kiting back, focusing down these Zealots. The Immortals can't get onto NaNiwa Stalkers, and there's the time warp bringing the most important units of this battle out of commission. And what's left to tank for the Immortals? The Stalkers step up, focusing down. 1 Immortal falls. The Zealots getting on top of the 2nd Immortal. That's dead. NaNiwa wants to advance to the semifinals. San GG's. The Swede continues the foreign hope, stays alive here at the Intel Extreme Masters. The crowd cheers NaNiwa. The Swedish flag is run through the crowd. And many a viewer is pleased, Todd, with the results of this match. Fantastic play all the way throughout.
And that means NaNiwa will take on Hyun tomorrow in the semifinals.
No small opponent to go against. Spider King had a great series versus Dong Regu. But what a series, really. I mean, it was a lot of aggression, pretty much I don't think expansions really came into play at all. There was the one Nexus that NaNiwa took on Bel'Shir Vestige, but didn't end up making really any use of it. Just a really great series.
It's the second time NaNiwa starts the series with a quite disappointing loss and then makes it through looking very convincing.
Just swept all the way back. He took that loss and he used it to make himself stronger, and that was really good.
That's very deep.
Yeah. I'm just saying, the micro battles and the engagements that it came into, the time warp that was spent on the Mothership Core when he was chasing him down the center of the field was so good. He immediately had the Stalker advantage after grabbing that. And then there's no energy for the Photon Overcharge. He was able to get closer and closer. He was able to force the ramp. And, you know, the timing of the force field from San, if he'd been able to block out a few more of those
I'm really
Stalkers,
surprised.
he could have chewed the army apart.
Yeah, supposedly you let 1 or 2 Stalkers go up, you force field, you kill them for free, and you warp in another sentry, and then you rinse and repeat. But now, San, it looked like he was looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe, I think he was looking at his Zealots, trying to get some kill on those probes of NaNiwa, and in the end, NaNiwa just capitalized on that mistake yet again.
The few probes that he had sent around, and you know, NaNiwa hadn't found that pylon, but he had exactly what he needed to defend it. And it's not easy to get just enough to defend a counterattack while still bringing enough pressure to end the game. And it was funny that we discussed both of these players being good in the mid and late stages, but all of these games very short as well.
Yeah, and NaNiwa had some serious star sense, I think, in this series. There was a pylon that he found in his base before that I thought he had no idea, he was supposed to have no idea about. And now, again, he sent the probe down his ramp, not for the Nexus, I think, to check for units possibly headed his way. So that's some serious star sense, and not many players have that, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, I mean, if those warpins go the wrong way, all of a sudden you lose your probes. But we have an interview ready with our winner on the main stage, and we're gonna hand it over to Red Eye or Smix. Can't see who's over there. Let's do this.
Congratulations, NaNiwa. Let's hear you guys cheer for him one more time. We have quite the number of NaNiwa fans here. Now, NaNiwa, the last time we talked about your upcoming match against San, and you actually stated that you don't like PvP. How did you prepare with this matchup coming up? Did you think of specific builds? Obviously, San is an amazing player.
We actually played in a best of 3 last week, so I kind of knew how he plays, and he knew how I played, of course, but I changed myself much more easily than most players, so I just changed all my builds, and I kind of knew how he would play, so I just played out from some kind of standard, and it worked out very well.
Well, a lot of people are calling you the best foreigner right now, and obviously you're one of the few foreigners left practicing in Korea. What do you attribute to your success? Do you think it's that practice in Korea, or do you think there's something about your style that makes you stand out above the rest?
Well, I haven't been to Korea in 6 months, so I don't think that's why I'm winning right now, but best foreigner, I don't know. It's not very fair to say since Scarlet is not here, right? So I let us decide that when I play Scarlet. Why I win? I think I'm just very good at reading my opponents. I don't think I'm better than San, to be honest. I just think I'm better than him at reading my opponent, which in PvP is very important.
All right, well now we only have Zerg players left in this tournament. How do you feel about your upcoming match against Hyun and just about your PvZ in general?
Well, obviously Zerg is imba, since there's 3 Zergs in the top 4, so no shame if I lose, but it would be really good to win. But Hyun is a great player, and to be honest, when I went into the Sun game, I just didn't want to lose 3-0, so I'm very satisfied right now, and I will just think about new builds against Hyun, and I hope I can win.
All right, NaNiwa, well, you have a lot of fans here that are cheering for you extremely loudly. Do you have any words you want to say to them?
Well, as I said before, it's still the same feeling. Like, I log on to every community site and I just see all this depressing stuff, like StarCraft is dying and whatever. And then I come here and I hear this kind of loud cheering. It makes me really happy. So thank you all for coming.
Congratulations again, NaNiwa. Now let's head over to Red Eye for a recap of today's events.
Thank you very much, Smix. Also, thank you to all of our commentators today, the ones that aren't on the stage, Nathanias, Todd, and Kalaris, as well as Apollo, who's here with me on the main stage. As also, we have a bit of a hometown hero. Mr. Suppy is up here, ladies and gents. Great to have you up here. I'd love to be able to be talking to you in a much better circumstance, which is, you've just won a quarterfinal when you're through this. I mean, sadly, that couldn't happen, but talk to us about your tournament. How's it been for you?
I had a pretty fun tournament. Got here on Thursday, played DRG, and...
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that. It was pretty good games, and ended up losing 0-2, though. And then I ended up playing Sasquatch and losing to him 1-2 after playing Shu and Siphon.
Yeah, so not the most successful tournament, obviously, but great to get that experience against players like DRG.
Yeah, it's really good, and I actually played him on stream a couple days beforehand, and so it was pretty cool to play him like in person here too.
How different is that from playing it at home and then coming here and coming out and doing stuff at the Intel Extreme Masters?
It's definitely a lot different. He played like thousands of times better, I felt like.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's what they tend to do, these Koreans, these pesky Koreans as we know them up here. Talk to me about the tournament itself. What have surprised you, if anything, and what has impressed you most?
I've really been impressed by Curious's results. He's been playing fantastically, and coming to the tournament, I didn't really expect him to do this well. That's probably the biggest surprise for me.
Okay, Sean, we're going to put the groups up on the screen right now so you can see the results. Well, actually, not the groups, the bracket, of course, that we've had today, the quarterfinals. 4 great games. I don't really know where to start. Where do you want to start?
I have to just commend on what Conan said about how good Curious played, right? Really, really solid play, but I think Hyun has played an amazing tournament so far. An absolutely amazing tournament, considering he's a replacement for Pult, right? That's pretty impressive. NaNiwa making it through the quarterfinals is another big thing. I wasn't too sure if that was going to happen. He made it happen, and that's a good set of semifinals that are present.
Yeah, San, let's just talk about him for a moment, because yesterday he looked unbeatable. He was just absolutely flawless, and then NaNiwa's come in and absolutely demolished him 3-1. So does that now make NaNiwa potentially a favourite to win this whole thing?
I don't know.
Or am I making that a bit risky now?
I don't know if he's a favourite to win the entire thing. He goes up against Hyun next, who's destroyed player after player after player, and I have to edge it in favour of Hyun. But NaNiwa pulling through is really impressive. I don't know if Sam was maybe sleepy. He was sleeping backstage earlier on, and that affected his play a little bit. But I'm actually... The thing is, with NaNiwa, and I've cast him a lot at DreamHack, I've cast him a lot at other tournaments, he goes up against Jaedong, he goes up against Leenock, and he always delivers strong performances against Zerg players.
Season 2.
Innovation. So even though I think Hyun's a really strong competitor, I think NaNiwa could maybe.
Okay, we've got a proper Captain America up here now. I think that's quite appropriate for him as well. Grab your shields, good. Brilliant, well done. There's never any lack of fun when there's a certain man called Carmack here. Look at this, we've even got you. I'm going to do this against someone else and maybe they won't throw it away. There we go. Is that better? Does that work? All right, good. It's always fun being at Comic-Con. We love it. So one last question for you then, Suppy. You right? Hi.
Hello.
So who do you think is going to win? 4 players left. Pick out one.
Gotta say NaNiwa for America.
USA, USA, yeah, okay. Just geographically speaking, it's just Sweden's the 53rd state, that's all, okay. Final question for you, Sean. Who's winning this one for you?
For me, I'm from England, not America. England's closer to Korea, maybe.
Okay, 75% chance of that happening. Good chance.
I'm going to be really honest. I really think Hyun's tournament, to be honest. I really think it's
all
Hyun.
right. So Hyun and NaNiwa are these two's favourites. We'll find out tomorrow who is going to take the Intel Extreme Masters New York Championship in 2013. Don't forget as well, for all of you out in the crowd and all of you out on the internet, thank you for tuning in today, by the way, all day long. Make sure you follow @SullyRabbit. That's appropriate, isn't it? Because if we get her to 13,337 followers by tomorrow, she will sing live on stage during the closing ceremony. What an appropriate way to end. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Intel Extreme Masters New York City. We'll see you tomorrow.